Hey everyone, welcome and thanks for joining us. This is episode 28 of the Shamanwood podcast. This is the last episode of Out of the Gloom in 2025. So I'm really excited to have a very special show planned today. We'll be talking about F3, and of course, what that stands for is fitness, fellowship, and faith. So please, let's start by joining me and welcoming my partner in crime, as always, Doghouse. And today, as I mentioned, for the first time, we actually have a third man and a fourth man. We have Evan Williams, who you know as Flanders, and Parker Williams, who you know as Yoshi. Men, how are you doing today? How was your Christmas?
Oh, we're good. It was good. Busy as always. I don't know. How about you? How was yours?
Um, we just went to like my grandma's. We had like um I think it was lunch there. It was really good food, and then after that we like talked for a little bit, and then we opened presents. Pretty
Awesome.
cool. And then also I went to my aunt's. My mom couldn't make it because she was sick,
Hmm.
and we opened presents there. So that was pretty cool too. Yeah, that's basically it.
Good deal. That's better than yours. My whole family's been sick. We had the flu running around my house all last week. So we have not yet celebrated Christmas with like my parents and my siblings and my two older daughters, but we're just getting through it now. So hopefully in the next couple of days we'll be celebrating with the rest of the family. Doghouse, what did you do for this past week?
Yeah, I went over to my sisters in Joliet. My brother was up from St. Louis. Got to see my nieces. My parents were there. My mom was sick, but my dad was there, and grandma and uncle and aunt. So good time. We had what did we eat? Roast beef. I'm sorry, Italian beef. Opened some presents, riled up the kids a little bit, and went home.
Awesome. Good to hear. Good. Well, before we get too far into it, I want to first turn it back over to Doghouse to go through core values, mission, and credo of F3. Doghouse, take it away.
You got it. So at F3, we have 5 core principles. 1, we're open to all men. 2, we're free of charge. 3, we're held outside, rain, shine, heat, or cold. 4, we are pure in rotating fashion. And 5, we always enter a circle of trust. We have a mission statement: plant, grow, and serve small workout groups of men for the invigoration of male community leadership. And we have a credo: to leave no man behind, but leave no man where you find him.
Awesome. Well, speaking of where we find each other, I want to hear from each of you as to what workout in the last week to 2 weeks or so really stands out at the top of your memory. Flanders, Yoshi, you guys want to go first?
Oh man, my favorite had to be Holyfield's VQ on Christmas at the island.
Tell us a little bit about Holyfield for the guys in the region who haven't met him yet.
Holyfield is the son of Frankenstein. He's 14 years old. He's into boxing, basketball. I guess him and his family did their annual tradition this year of cooking for families in need at the Grundy County Housing Authority. So he likes to give back to the community. Good kid all around. Like to see him out.
I've worked out with him a couple times in Morris, and it's good to see young kids like that. Speaking of young kids, Yoshi, what was your favorite workout of the last week or two?
I also liked Holyfield that threw some cardio in there, which I liked. Had pretty good workouts and just like overall like a really nice flow to it.
Nice. Doghouse, what about you?
Yeah, I queued one on Christmas Day too, but I'm not going to cheat and pick my own. So I'm going to go Monday night at Three Rivers. Finch had a nice one queued up. It was beautiful out. I think it was like 50. We were out there. Shorts, t-shirt, or shorts and a hoodie, I guess. Um, Pretty simple but effective workout. We were under the gazebo where we normally do coffee. Um, Pretty straightforward, just straight lifting, no cardio for that one either. Or I'm sorry, no cardio for that one. But I think the fun part for me was that was the first time we were kind of in the gloom after the Bears' big win. So there's a lot of shit talking going on about the Packers. We had Dustin come out. His Shooter's his F3 name. He'd been kind of hanging out with us for a while, so it was good to get him out for his first beat down. He come out to a ruck on Saturday, but he had plenty to say about the Packers as well. So shout out to Finch on his cue from last Monday.
Awesome. Actually, I promised ATF and Picasso I would tell this story from Friday, from Three Rivers on Friday. I HC'd, as I said, my family's been sick. I haven't been feeling that great. I HC'd for an EC run. I went out before the workout, and that feeling where you've been running for like maybe a half mile and you realize, oh shit, something doesn't feel right. Like this isn't going well. But the best thing about Three Rivers is if you do the EC run there down Route 6, it's exactly a mile and a half to that Thornton's. And then if you need to stop, you can stop and head back, and it's exactly 3 miles. So I told myself, well, if I can just make it the next mile, like I can get into Thornton's, I'll be okay. Like if I can just get in there. So I get up to the parking lot and I'm running through up to Thornton's, and the door is locked. There's a sign on the door that says, "We're closed until 6 o'clock due to staffing shortage." I'm like, oh no, this is god awful. Like now what do I do? Do I run across the street on Route 6 to that BP that's over there? I've never been there before. I'm thinking maybe they have a bathroom outside somewhere. I don't know, but I could not wait. I could not hold this. So I run across the street and go inside the BP. And unfortunately, it's a nice one. Like I can clearly see there's a women's bathroom, there's a men's bathroom. All right, finally, I'm golden. If I can just make it inside. Get inside the men's bathroom. First stall, out of order. Oh, fuck. Second stall, door is locked. And I hear this is like 4:45 in the morning. I hear from the other side of the door I'm convinced I woke this guy up. He goes, "Door's closed for a reason." What am I gonna do? Like I need to go to the bathroom. Like this is decision time. So I look out and I'm like, well, I guess I just need to see if I can use this women's bathroom. So I peek the door open just a little bit. Thank God there's nobody in there. First stall out of order. Like, no, you got to be kidding me. It's not happening. Second stall, finally. All right. Doors open. I go in there, and I feel so much better. But I'm thinking to myself, it hadn't occurred to me, what am I going to do if somebody walks in this bathroom? Like, do I announce myself? Do I say like, hey, there's a dude in here? Like, don't come in here. What do I do? But again, it's 4:45 in the morning. Like that, who's going to come into the bathroom at that point? So I finish up. I absolutely destroyed that bathroom, and I'm peeking out the door. I don't see anybody. Finally, I'm like, all right, fine. Put this nightmare behind me. Push the door open, and there's this little old lady who catches the door. She looks up at me. She goes, "You no woman." What do I say at that point? I'm like, I'm sorry.
Identify
I'm
as
sorry.
female.
I apologize for what you're about to walk into. So
That
I
would
had
be a
back.
great FNG story.
Yeah. So I had to pull my HC because there was no way I could make it back in time with all that going on. But that was the story I promised I would tell ATF and Picasso. That was my unfortunately that registered to be my workout of the week.
The workout was just fine to install, right?
Yes, yes. I planned on running like 2 miles. It ended up being 3.7 miles. Just trying to find the bathroom back. So, all right. With that in mind, let's move on. PAX Spotlight is always the Q&A portion. That's the reason we have the third man and today the fourth man on the show. So I wanted to give Doghouse a chance to talk with Flanders and Yoshi. We've got a couple of questions already set up for you guys. So I'll turn it back to Doghouse. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, cool. So by way of order of operations here, let's let Yoshi go first, and then Flanders can answer, and we'll go on to the next question. Cool.
Yep.
All right. So Yoshi, tell the world who's listening, when and how did you find F3?
I think it was around like 2023 of summer, and my dad has like been going for like I think like a month now, and he just asked me if you want to come to one of the workouts, and I was like, sure, why not? And then that's just basically how it started.
Awesome. Flanders, how did you find us?
Oh, that's a story all on its own, my friend. Well, uh, I found it because unfortunately my wife had breast cancer and she was going through the early beginning stages of treatment, and we had been going to her surgeon's doctor's office for a few weeks and had been talking to one of the nurses who turns out to be Homer Simpson's wife. And I remember just this one day in particular, she had been in there, went through the normal stuff we do in the beginning, and then, talked to the physician. And then she came back in at the end, and, she was like, hey, give me some of your information, and I will try to get you guys some help because at that time we were struggling and hadn't been set up with anything yet. And then, I had mentioned, that I had been sober and I quit drinking. I think I was sober for maybe 6 months at that point and had wanted to get back into working out. And then she told me that her husband's in this crazy workout group where these guys are idiots and work out outside, no matter if it's raining or cold or snowing or whatever. So I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. So then, yeah, got hooked up with Homer over the phone, and I ended up meeting him for, I believe it was spring convergence because it was the day after or before my birthday. So yeah, my first workout was, I think it was a double black diamond convergence, and I ended up throwing up when I was getting named. So yeah, that was how I found F3.
Awesome. I remember meeting you that day, I think, at cafeteria. So that was
Yeah, my first run-in with anybody was when I was driving up and foreclosure came up to my car and I rolled down my window and he said, "No more coupons." And I, what the hell did I get myself into? What is this? What the hell is a coupon?
I'm going to remind him of that next time I see him.
I don't even know if he remembers it.
I'll remind him. All right, Yoshi, I know this might be a little tough for you. We tried to do some math as well. I guess I'll kind of ask the question and maybe answer it for it. Let me ask this way. Do you have any idea if you had to take a guess how many posts or how many workouts you've been to?
Around like 100 to 200 workouts, if I had to say.
Maybe 100 to 150, maybe.
Yeah, around that.
Yeah, still a great number. Yeah, I think we said Flanders has about 225, so I'm stealing his thunder too. So we figured you were probably around the same. So cool. Yoshi, would you tell us how you got your F3 name, please?
Um, so I think how I got it was that like I liked running and I liked Super Mario at that time, and they just thought it mixed together because there's this character named Yoshi in there and he likes to run. So they just named me Yoshi because I like to run and I play Super Mario.
Perfect. Flanders?
Oh, I got my name because Homer Simpson brought me out.
Perfect.
Simple. Simple.
We got to do a Simpsons names workout one time. I'd like to see all the guys with Simpsons names come out.
Yeah, we just got to get a few more guys named.
Yeah. Well, you got to bring some guys out. Mr. Burns has to bring some guys out, and we'll. I think we have a Smithers or had a Smithers, but
Yeah, we did.
cool. Let's switch it up. Let's go with Flanders on this one. Flanders, what's your typical posting cadence?
Like how many times a week?
Yeah, how many times a week? Where do you like to go? What kind of workouts do you like to hit?
Well, when it's not freezing ass cold and I can have my shirt off and be free. Summertime, I'm usually hitting, I would say at least four to 5 or 6 times a week. Here in the wintertime, I've gotten a little lazy. I'm down to maybe 2 to 4 times a week.
Yeah, and then Yoshi's pretty close to that. Yoshi, what do you like to try to hit during the summer and in the winter for your workouts?
So during the summer, I usually like to go the same with my dad, like 4 workouts usually. And then, yeah, the winter as well has been a lazy winter for me, so I haven't been going out a lot, but usually like to go like 2 times a week.
Cool.
So, Yoshi, I know you said you like to run club at the Wood tomorrow morning. It is obviously far from you guys, and it's in Shorewood, so I don't expect you to be there on a regular basis. But if it's not running, what kind of workouts do you like the best? Do you like heavy upper body stuff, lower body stuff, coupon work, body weight work?
I like coupon work and like upper body stuff, and then like I like to throw in a mix of lower body because like you need that core for running mostly, and
Hmm.
then also the upper arm, or I mean the upper half of your body is like used for controlling your arms.
You run at school?
What?
Do you run at school? Like, are you track or cross country in school?
Yeah, I do track.
Yeah, we got to get a run club out that way. Give those guys a chance to get some running in.
Yeah.
There
What about
may
you,
be a
Flanders?
spot opening in Coal City.
What's that?
There may be a spot opening up in Coal City
Oh, is there a track out there?
at the high school. Yeah, brand new track and football field.
Ooh, that sounds lovely. I like the idea there. What's your favorite kind of workout, Flanders?
Oh, my favorite is always lifting.
Yeah.
Lift club on Saturdays is always nice.
Yeah, I like those setups where guys bring out the entire gym. It's like you've got no shortage of equipment anywhere for those.
No, I like lifting. Running's kind of not so much my favorite thing, but I will do it.
Hmm.
Uh,
So,
that and lifting.
I'm expecting there are probably two different types of answers for each of you, but I want to know what aspect you enjoy most about F3. Like obviously Flanders, you're at one point in your life, Yoshi, you're at a different point in your life. But what is it that you really like about F3 that draws you out week after week? Uh, Flanders, you go first this time.
Oh, well, definitely the brotherhood and camaraderie. Definitely the highest point for me, especially because it helped me out so much when my wife was going through cancer treatment. Yeah, I mean the workouts are a plus, but definitely the camaraderie and being around other guys, and it's just a nice change of pace, especially like somebody like myself. I grew up without a dad, didn't really have any men in my life at all, didn't really have a lot of friends, especially that I kept after high school. So definitely helped a lot to be around other men.
Mhm. What about you, Yoshi?
Um, I like the workouts, but like the biggest thing is like my dad said, the brotherhood, all the people, just I really appreciated it because like it's taught me a lot of stuff, like how to properly work out and stuff, but especially the brotherhood, like always there for you. They don't care what's happening, but like they'll just drop anything and do everything for you.
Mhm. Is F3 something you've talked about with guys your age that you go to school with, Yoshi?
Oh yeah, all the time. This I have this F3 water bottle. People ask me about it all the time. I just say it's a workout group I go to.
Yeah. Do any of them seem like they'd be interested in coming out also?
Yeah, a lot of them would actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to
If they're
sound,
glad to get up that early.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's got to sound crazy at that age to get up and go work out at 5:15 in the morning. Like there's nothing I would rather be doing less at that age than going outside and working out. Do they think you're crazy for what you're doing?
I mean, sometimes they do, but like they stay up till 4 in the morning anyways.
Mm. And and probably not doing healthy stuff, I would imagine. Maybe
Eating and doing push-ups.
not doing push-ups. That's right. But what Flanders, you mentioned growing up without like a lot of positive male influence when you were younger. Did that factor in at all to to your decision to get Yoshi out there? Like were you thinking like this is gonna be good for him in a way that I didn't have growing up?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, I'm not the only man on the planet. I'm not the smartest. I don't know everything. I don't have the same life experiences that other people do. So, I mean, yeah, the saying is it takes a village, right? So, yeah, definitely factored into it. I still want him to grow up, and only be around me and then get out in the real world and struggle to interact with other men. I know that was something I struggled with as I got older.
I think it's interesting having worked out with you guys to see the dynamic between the two of you. Like, and you're not even the only father-son, obviously, duo in F3. Rooney, Bueller, Sir Lemonhead's got a couple kids that he brings out. There are other father-son teams. Doghouse, I'm curious if you see this too. Like the split between, yes, we're father and son, but out here in the gloom, it's a little bit more like we're peers in a weird way. Do you see that the same way, Doghouse?
Yeah, I see that with it can be tough straddling that line, right, and living that, right. So yeah, you definitely want to see him as a peer and watch him grow as a man individually. We've seen I've caught myself doing this, which is why I feel like I can say it about others. I won't name names, but we had a 2.0 doing his VQ recently, and Dad was kind of like on him the whole not on him, but kind of like, hey, do it this way, and we're like, hey man, let him fail, Dad, he'll be all right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it is tough, right? Our nature as men, as fathers, is to help and nurture our children, right? And it's tough to let that go and just kind of naturally let them, especially if they're queuing, especially for the first time. So it's an interesting dichotomy for sure.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Flanders? What is that like through your perspective, being both father and peer to Yoshi as he's either queuing a workout or just alongside you as one of the other packs?
Well, I definitely ride his ass. Uh, mainly I don't ride his ass to be mean. I ride his ass, like if you're gonna do this, you should try to at least do it 90% the right way. If you're gonna squat, squat.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know. I kind of lost where I was going with that.
I think what you're starting to say is something that I've heard Rooney say as well. I was talking to him about getting Bueller to come out and how often they post together. And he said something like the only rule that I ever set was I'm not going to wake you up and make you do this. Like if you're going to do it for yourself. Like I'm not going to drag you out of bed to do this. So I imagine maybe it's similar, maybe it's different for you. Like is,
Nope.
is Yoshi the one pushing to get out there?
I just actually started doing that with him over the last few months. Like, you've been at this for probably at least a year now. You know the drill, and if you really want to do this, then you're gonna wake yourself up and at least make an effort to get out and do this. I'm not gonna keep fighting you every morning to get up.
Hmm. Yoshi, how has that been? How has that shift been for you? Do you feel like that's something that you're able to take ownership of, or is that frustrating to hear?
Um, I mean, I know it's something I'm gonna be able to take care of, but like I gotta work towards it because I haven't been able to get myself up because it's just been hard for me to wake up early for some reason now.
Yeah.
So by not like I don't know, I lost it. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, I can't imagine being your age and wanting to get up at 4, whatever, to go work out in the cold. That just seems really unappealing. But what I think we've talked about on the show a couple times about some of us wishing we'd found F3 a lot earlier in our lives. And I can't imagine, Doghouse, you've worked out with Yoshi and Flanders more than I have, but I can't imagine what it's going to be like in another 5 years when Yoshi, how old are you now? 14, 13? So when you're 18 and you've been doing this for 5 years, like
Yeah.
there's not a lot of packs who have been doing this for 5 years at any point, let alone an 18-year-old. What do you think this is going to do for you in your teenage years having this kind of experience in your life?
I think it's gonna help me out a lot, like throughout my life, like staying fit and staying healthy and not like becoming like an old sandbag when I'm 80 years old. Um,
Mhm.
it's definitely gonna help me a lot in my future life by like staying active and losing weight and all this stuff.
What do you think what do you hope it does for him, Flanders, as his father?
Well, I hope it helps him mentally. Biggest thing.
In what
Uh,
way?
well, mental toughness, um, mental sharpness, just uh, just overall mentally better. Because when I was his age, I I definitely wasn't getting up at 4 in the morning and working out. I was definitely starting to go down the other path.
Mhm.
Uh, Hopefully it helps him better with leadership skills as he gets older in life, especially in high school. I hope that helps a lot. And then sticking with it, hopefully staying the course and staying physically fit throughout life, and then hopefully not having health problems later on down the road.
Mm. Yeah, I can remember a point. It was obviously sometime in the last year. I think Yoshi wasn't coming out, and we asked about it. And I think you said something like either his grades were slipping or something was happening that you decided like F3 was a privilege. Like you don't get to do this until the other stuff gets sorted out. Can you take us back to that point if you remember when F3 really became something you don't get to do instead of something we have to do?
I mean, just pretty similar to like sports in school. It's a privilege to be able to get to do this. So, if your grades are slipping, you know, it, I know for kids now, they really have it in their head that grades aren't important a lot because of YouTube. Like, oh, I can just be a YouTuber or a gamer or this and that. I don't have to worry about it. But grades are more than just grades, because it's you maintaining the discipline and keeping up with your schoolwork and putting in the work to actually get good grades, and that transfers over later in life. It's a discipline you have and you keep. So, I mean, if you can't do the hard work in class and you can't keep your grades up, then you don't get to participate in this because it is something you enjoy to do. So, yeah, I mean, don't keep the grades up, you don't get to do it.
Yoshi, do you remember that point? I like I said, I don't remember exactly when that was, but I remember you weren't out for a while.
Yeah, I remember that point. Yeah, my grades were slipping pretty bad because like I just thought I could get away with anything, and then Dad took away F3, and I was like, oh crap, I got to get my grades back up. And then that's what ended up happening. I got my grades back up and got back to F3.
It's awesome. That's really cool. Doggos, did you ever experience something like that being in you were playing sports or having something taken away that you're like, oh man, I don't want to lose this. I need to straighten my act.
Yeah, good question. It's I don't want to sound like a smart ass or anything, but I never really had too many problems with my grades. To use that example, definitely striking the balance of the work-life balance and or not work-life, but like work F3, right? There's certain times, for the most part, I'm pretty flexible with my schedule, but when I am needed, I am needed. So it's kind of, I've missed a little bit of the gloom here and there, a few workouts, being out of town or having to prioritize work. So, um, yeah, I mean, that just kind of comes with maturity, being able to prioritize properly. And, obviously work is from a financial standpoint more important than F3, but, um, yeah, just trying to strike that balance.
So speaking of balance, I always love to hear what, depending on where someone is in their F3 journey,
Mhm.
what they see is next for them. Like Flanders, Yoshi, Yoshi, I've known you've queued a couple times already, but what do you both see as the next step in your F3 journey?
Well, if I get my act together a little better, hopefully some sort of a leadership role. I know right now during the winter time, it's a lot harder to be consistent, but I know that there's a lot more I could be doing and giving to F3. And I would like to be maybe on SLT or something, have some kind of leadership in F3 at some point.
Yoshi, what about
Um,
you?
I'm just trying to like work on getting back out, and then once I like do that, I'm gonna start focusing on queuing more, and then focusing more on leadership and being like a more positive impact towards F3 as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I can see a lot of work being done in your community too. And Coal City is, we don't talk nearly enough about the impact we could be having right there in Coal City. Flanders, you just mentioned potential for an AO out there. I think that's great. That's, just like Morris, just like the island, we've got to continue moving the direction of where there's opportunity. I'd love to hear more about that. We have a couple other questions that we've want to start baking into this podcast. So I'll throw them out at you guys, and feel free to take as much time as you want to answer them. But they're more getting to know you kind of questions. Yoshi, we'll start with you. The first question is: would you rather move ahead 5 years in time or move back 5 years in time, and why?
Oh, I would like to move 5 years back in time, so that way it's like I could discover F3 more early and work work towards more um like physical impact towards myself, and then um, try and figure it out.
So you would have been what, 8 back then?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll have to jump in, and I still would have been a raging alcoholic that wasn't working out. So,
Yeah.
So 5 years ago, that would have been pretty different for you too, then, Flanders,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, I think 5 years, that was the pandemic.
yep. 2020. Well, would have been about 2021 at this point in time.
Yeah. What about you, Doghouse? 5 years back or 5 years forward?
Great question. So, yeah, 5 years ago, pandemic. Yeah, there's certainly an aspect that would have been cooler to start F3 a little sooner. We talk about this a lot in Bloom, especially with guys like Yoshi around. Like, I don't having, a lot of us say, hey, when I was 20, oh, it was so cool to find this when I was 25. I don't know if I would have been in a place mentally to really appreciate and go through it if I did. But
Yeah.
I think I'd want to go 5 years ahead and see where I'm at with F3, where I can progress, where I can get to. So, um, yeah, I think I'd want to flash forward 5 years. And if I could add a little sidebar on your comment, you mentioned, most guys have been in F3 for 5 years. And it was funny when I was in North Carolina, a lot of those guys are all 10, 11, 12, 15-year guys, which was very different to me. And obviously, F3 is a little newer to the region. I don't think we've been in Chicago here more than 5 or 6 years. So obviously, we wouldn't have been here that long, but they do exist, just not near us.
Yeah, that I wanted to ask you about that. Obviously, it takes us a little bit off track, but just for context for the guys who have not been, as you
Mhm.
said, involved in F3 for even 5 years, do you notice a difference between those guys who've been in it for like 10 years or more? Like how is it different? How are they different? How's their setup different?
So in general, the region's different. So I mean, I only did 2 workouts, so I can't sit here and pretend like I'm an expert. But they don't do the flags anymore. They recognize the importance of it, but just where they'd been on their journey, it just kind of I got to talk to Scratch and Win a little bit, and he just kind of said like, it's just something it's cool for other regions. We've just kind of been there and done that. They were kind of over that. Not much in the way of um, and they do pretty hot starts, quick warm up, and then a lot of pearls out, basically running pearls on a string. Less, again, this is the two that I noticed. I think that's relatively common out there, but I don't know for sure. Um, Definitely the brotherhood, right? Because you work out with a guy for 10 years, you definitely got a lot of stories. Um, Dredd was getting on everybody, which was awesome. Um, he had something to say about everybody. So when you're in that long, it becomes very old hat, right? Where you know all these guys for the last 10 years. You know what you're comfortable saying to them. One thing I hadn't shared that I do want to share just real quick. We were doing Supermans, and the cue calls out, "All right, next exercise is Superman," and if you know the song, sing. Obviously, I had no idea what the song was. They all broke out and sang the chorus to "Believe It or Not," and that might not be the name of the song. But like everybody out there was singing it. It was hilarious. I'm just kind of looking around, like I kind of knew the song, but not well enough to sing. But little stuff like that. So, um, yeah, that was my experience with some of the more tenured guys out there.
That's a really good point, though. Like, think about the guys that you've known for 10 years. Like Flanders said, he's not really in touch with a lot of guys from high school. I'm certainly not in touch with a lot of the guys I was friends with 10 years ago. I can't imagine 5 years ahead from now, 7, 8 years from now, like having known you three for 10 years, like how much different, how that relationship evolves if you've known somebody week in and week out for 10 years. Like even think about the people you do know, people you have known for the last 10 years, you don't see them every week.
Yeah,
Like most people in your life, you don't see on a daily basis unless you're working with them or going to school with them. You really don't. I think Yoshi, you'll figure this out, but after school, you really don't see the same people every day anymore unless you're working with them. You kind of go your own way. So that's a really interesting point to imagine seeing the same group of men every day or every week for 10 years. That's got to change the nature of your relationship for sure.
Find out soon enough.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we always ask just this very general question, and you've touched on it a little bit already, but is there one way in which you can describe the biggest way that F3 has impacted your life, just in general? Yoshi, I'd love to hear from you first, if you don't mind.
Um, Definitely my physical, it has impacted that a lot. But mostly my mental health, because like I noticed that like in fifth grade I was constantly like anxious. I was stressing out. I just feel like I didn't belong in the world. And then once I got into F3, I just like was in an overall better mood. I felt energized. I felt like nothing is wrong with my life anymore. Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. What about you, Flanders?
Oh, well, the biggest impact would have been during my wife's breast cancer treatment. Uh, the amount of financial assistance, mental assistance. Yeah, I honestly don't know if I would even still be alive and here today if I wouldn't have found it because I don't know, I could have reverted back to drinking. I could have gone even deeper down the hole than I ever had in my life. Could have drank myself to death or worse. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if I'd still be here without F3.
So I'll go back to Yoshi just for a second. And this might be a harder question to answer, but I'd like you to try. Have you noticed a difference in your dad in the last 2 years?
Oh yeah, definitely. Ever since he quit alcohol and like he started working out, um, he wasn't getting mad constantly. He was in like sometimes in better mood. Um, we definitely like didn't spend as much money as we used to because we always would buy alcohol sometimes.
We.
Oh, you know what I mean. But yeah, it's just like made him more just a better person in general.
What I imagine you guys are just spending a lot more time together too, right?
Yeah, that's one thing we do together.
I mean, those workouts, the car rides, like that's quality time that a lot of fathers and sons, I imagine, don't have with each other.
I know I never did.
All right. Well, and to ask the question in the other direction, Flanders, thinking back on the time that Yoshi has been in F3, how have you seen him change?
Well, I've seen him get more confident, a little more belief in himself that he can do the hard things that, he may not think he can do or he doesn't want to do. I remember one day in particular, it was Iron Packs week, and it was the workout where I think it was you did thrusters and then ran X amount of meters. So I remember on that one, we were at the back, of course, because we're running with the beasts of the island, and we're still running laps. Everybody else is done waiting for us, and we made a lap back around to where everybody was at, and we still had like two more to go. And I remember, it's like, I don't want to do this anymore, blah blah. And I yelled, I was like, just run! And I was like, you can do this, just quit thinking and just do it. And then I remember, we got done with it, and he was like, "Well, I can't believe I finally actually finished that, and I did it." And I could see he was proud of himself and had a little more belief that he can do the hard things.
Do you remember that workout, Yoshi?
Oh, I do not.
He blocked out of his memory. I don't blame you.
Goldfish.
That sounds awful. Sounds terrible.
Iron Packs was rough this year.
Yeah, that's why. I was not around much during that week. All right, and anything else in closing? I know you've got some third F, some info on the announcements to make, but I want to make sure we touched on everything you guys wanted to talk about.
Well, you didn't ask me if I wanted to go 5 years back or forward.
I thought you said backwards.
No.
Oh, yeah, please answer then. Yeah.
Well, I would go 5 years back if I had the knowledge I had now, but even if I didn't, if I could go 5 years back, I would definitely try to quit drinking sooner than I did. But, I have the belief that everything happens for a reason, because I ended up, quitting drinking just a few months before my wife got diagnosed. But, yeah, if I can go 5 years back, definitely buy Bitcoin. Hodl, shout out to you. Just try to be a better man and father, I guess, than I was 5 years ago. I also had my own issues. I think it's probably been about 5 years since my sister died suddenly. And then 2 years before that, my best friend got killed. So I had a lot of stuff I didn't deal with when I was drinking. So I would definitely wish I could go back and cut that out sooner. But, if you go back and change one thing, you change everything. So I may not ever found F3 or whatnot.
Yeah, I can't imagine everything that you've been through and how F3 would have helped more. Certainly having a network of people is helpful in itself. But I want to ask before we move forward how your wife is doing. We've all obviously been keeping her in our thoughts for a couple of years now. How's her journey?
Well, and cancer wise, she had a complete response to the treatment, and then after the surgery, they found that everything was dead. So the chemo worked. She went through radiation. That was pretty rough, but overall, for the cancer aspect of everything, she's doing good. She has a good outlook, but the battle's never over. Realistically, it could come back some point in the future. Hopefully not. She's got a few other issues here and there, mainly her back. She's got degenerative disc disease now. So she's been dealing with that, but she's been getting a lot better. Overall, she's really just wants her hair back to where it was. It's coming in slower than she wants it to, but she's gotten back to work. She's been going 3 or 4 days a week, 6 hours a day. She's doing pretty good.
Good.
I mean, she's alive. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. Well, on that note, let's look at some third F stuff that we've got going on in the region. Doghouse, would you run us through that? And I'll close this with a COT.
Yep. So coming up January 10th, we have our poker tournament at the F3 Clubhouse, which is Plankton's Shop. That'll be a Saturday night. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'll be there. We have our blood drive January 31st. That's going to be at the Shorewood Troy Library. Everybody's trying to make it out for that if you're able to donate. And finally, we're going to be starting the Winter Warrior, our convergence. I'm sorry, we're starting Winter Warrior with our convergence and the Frosty 5 Mile on February 7th. So a big day in our region for sure.
Absolutely. All right. I'll close this, as I said, really quick today. There's something that's been kicking around in my head this last 2 weeks or so. Something that Rooney said, I think it was his COT not too long ago. He said, every day, try to find one good thing to do for yourself and one good thing to do for someone else. So I've been trying to keep that in the front of my mind. If I can do one either healthy or positive thing for myself, whether it's working out, even if I don't post an F3 workout to go for a run in the middle of the day, to eat a little bit healthier, or do something positive for myself, and then find some way to do something positive for someone else, whether it's a family member, a friend, whatever that may be. I think it's something really simple, but if it's something that you do consistently, I think it'll end up making a pretty big difference in your life. So I encourage everyone to find one positive thing to do for yourself and one positive thing to do for someone else every day you can. Right? All right. So as always, we'll wrap up with Namerama. I am Bill Skoronsky, 47, Puddles.
Puddles. John Christ, 41, Doghouse.
Doghouse. I am swole as fuck, 36, Flanders.
Flanders.
Parker Williams, 13, Yoshi.
Yoshi. All right, man. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon in the gloom. Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night.